Ask any kid how they're doing, and they'll say, good. You might ask another kid, hey, why did you get in trouble? And they might say, because I was bad. When we grow up, we carry these patterns of behavior and ways to describe how we feel into our adulthood. But today on Stress Talk Live, we're going to share how smart women go beyond good, bad, sad, and mad to preserve their mental health. And we're going to do so in just one moment. Hi there, and welcome to Stress Talk Live. This is the place where we help women over 40 to live healthier lives through strategic stress management and solution focused self care. I'm Marcyline Bailey, and I am your host. I'm so glad that you joined me today. It is the weather's been really interesting today. It just finished storming a little bit. I hope we can get through our 30 minutes together without the lights going out and or any type of lightning hitting something that causes us to lose connection. It happened earlier today, and so I hope we can get through this evening. We are talking about how we describe our emotions, and I know I did a live stream earlier this month about our emotions and describing our feelings. I wanted to revisit that because I think it's so vital for us to be able to express what we are feeling, and there are a number of reasons why that's important. And I'm going to share some of those reasons. I'm going to talk about a little bit about my views on how we learn to express ourselves. Then I'm going to talk about what it's like as an adult. And then I'm going to give a little bit of instruction as to what we can do as adults to express our needs, or I should say express our feelings and our emotions in order to get our needs met. So we're going to jump into it. As always, I'm going to ask you to like, follow, and subscribe to ML Bailey Consultants. Please do that. Also, you'll find more about me when you go to this link right there. You'll find more about me. You can always go to my website, and that's it right there. So let's talk about how smart women go beyond good, bad, sad, and mad to preserve their mental health. And I'm going to put up some slides here. Voila! What do you know? It is right there. We want to go beyond, right? And oftentimes when we're sharing our emotions, excuse me, when we're sharing our emotions, we're not always using words to describe the exact feelings that we are experiencing. And I wanted to talk about that because it's so important, I think, for us to be able to express ourselves. It's a matter of communicating effectively and communicating in a way that will get our needs met. And so when I'm talking about going beyond, I'm talking about stretching and learning new skills that enable us to communicate what is actually going on inside of us, apart from having someone make assumptions about what that means. And I'll give you an example of that. If someone asks me the question, "Hey, Marcy, how are you doing?" And I tell them, "I'm good," or "I'm good," I am allowing them to actually interpret what that means for me. Now, unless I've described that to them, they're not going to know what it actually means for me or to me. All that they know is that I said that I was good. Well, that has different meanings for different people, right? And so if I'm telling someone I'm good, they're going to use their frame of reference. They're also going to use their experiences, and they're going to use what they know or they think they know about me to determine what that means. The same goes for um, the term bad. If I say, "Oh, I'm just bad. I'm bad today." Again, that it allows someone else to use their own frame of reference to determine what that means for me. When that happens, it doesn't allow me the ability to really express what I feel. And so their response to my saying, "Oh, I'm good," or my saying "I'm bad" is going to be based on their frame of reference, their experiences, and what they think that they know about me. And they're going to respond in kind. So that's why it's important for us to go beyond what we've done in the past in order to get a new response or a new reaction currently or in the future. So let's talk a little bit about expressing emotions. How did we learn to express our emotions? And I have I have a slide here that has a picture of a little boy throwing a tantrum and grabbing onto the adult's leg as the adult is holding another child. And I also have a picture of an adult who's screaming, who appears to be screaming. So, what do we know, or how do we learn to share our emotions? Well, first of all, when we're children, we don't have the vocabulary to express everything that we're feeling. We learn to talk in gradually, actually. Anyone who has learned a language that is not their native language knows that it's often difficult to learn that language because you have to learn vocabulary and you have to have a wide range of vocabulary to hold a conversation. Well, children don't have an extensive vocabulary. When they're toddlers, they know very few words. No is one of the words they know. Mommy, daddy, sissy, brother. They know those words. They know cup. They know juice. Very basic vocabulary. So, and they may not know how to express what they're feeling inside. So, what happens is with children, because they don't have the vocabulary, they will express their feelings through actions. So, if you can see this, if you're looking at the slide, or if you can't see the slide, as I said, I have a little boy who's holding on to an adult's leg, and it looks like he's hollering or he's screaming or he's crying. Well, he's acting out something that he's feeling on the inside. And he very well may not have the vocabulary to express what he's feeling. And we can look at this picture and we can We can make assumptions about what's happening. The adult is holding another child. The child who's screaming and throwing the tantrum may not want that adult to hold the other child, or may be upset about something else. We don't know. So it's important for, thank you for the thumbs up. It's important for us to be able to, as to know that we need to be able to use our words, to express what we're feeling. But what happens when how do we learn that, right? How do we learn to use our words? Well, when we use our words, it enables us to express our feelings in a healthy manner. We learn that through modeling. When we see the adults in our lives express themselves in a healthy way, then we will tend to model that. Chances are we'll model it, right? When we are encouraged to express ourselves in a healthy way by using our voices in a conversational tone, by using our words, our vocabulary, then we can put those two things together and we learn how to express ourselves healthily. When we don't see that modeled in front of us, and when we are not encouraged to express ourselves using our words, that's when we have difficulty, even when we get to adulthood. When we are able to express our emotions, it opens the door. It helps us to build meaningful relationships because it enables us to build trust. And trust is a foundation for healthy relationships. So through modeling and through encouragement, that's how we learn to express our emotions. Again, using the vocabulary and by using a conversational tone, because we want other people to hear us. In the picture with the child who's holding on to the adult's leg and the child is screaming, the adult is probably trying to either ignore the child, yell or raising their voice at the child, or trying to get away from the child. And that's not what the child wants. The child needs and wants the attention, but he's getting it in a manner that is not helping him. I hope this makes sense. I really hope this is making sense. The other thing about emotions is that they're experienced physically. And I believe if you've been listening and watching Stress Talk Live, you've heard me say that when we are experiencing emotions, when our emotions are activated, the stress response is activated as well. So it's a physical response, a physical reaction and it's physical that we're feeling and we're experiencing. That's why if we yell, if we scream, if we hit something, if we, if we're having tantrums, it helps us to relieve that physical experience, that the tensing of the muscles that we experience. So let's move forward. So I talked about expressing healthy emotions. We learn that through modeling. When we see adults expressing themselves in a healthy manner, when we see adults using a variety of words to express how they're feeling, when we as children are encouraged to say what we need to say or what we would like to say, that helps us to learn how to express ourselves in a healthy way. One of the things that I did when our daughters were growing up, I always told our girls, even from the time they were very, very young, like 3 years old, when I thought they could understand what I was saying, I always said to them, you can say whatever it is you need to say, You can say it however you want to say it. You just we just require that you are respectful to us. You can't disrespect us. Meaning you can't call us anything other than mommy and daddy. You can't say bad words, which we didn't use bad words in our house, but you couldn't say bad words. Um, you couldn't yell at us because we didn't yell. We are not yelling at you. So I actually went through certain things that they could do and couldn't do, certain ways that things that they could say and they couldn't say, or ways that, in which they could say it, because I wanted them to be able to express what they were feeling. And they could say to me, I'm just frustrated. Our oldest daughter, that was one of her favorite words. She wouldn't say frustrated with the R, she would say frustrated. I'm frustrated. And so, but those were the things that enabled them, I think, to be able to communicate their feelings as adults. So what happens when we we don't learn how to appropriately or in a healthily express ourselves and express our emotions? Basically what happens is the patterns that we developed as children continue in our adult life. And on this slide, I actually describe some of the things that happen when adults are not able to express their emotions or their feelings in a healthy way. We see adults throwing tantrums. We see adults withdrawing from other people, whether it is from people that they love and care about or from people with whom they work. We also see adults in strained relationships, relationships that are very tenuous and difficult because they're not able to use the words to express what they are feeling, or they're using words that are not specific enough, leaving it to other people to decide what they're trying to say. So, as adults, when we continue that pattern of not using our vocabulary, not expressing ourselves in a manner in which others can hear us, then it causes frustration. And so we see adults who pout, they get angry, they fly off the handle at the drop of a hat. They are very snappy, they snap at others. Um, there's a variety of things that we see that we can categorize as adult tantrums. We also see people who will avoid others when they're angry with someone or when someone has hurt them. They don't express it, they don't talk to that person, they just avoid that person. So that leaves it up to the other person to figure out what's going on. In the workplace, this is definitely not a good situation because it hurts the communication, it hurts the coordination, and it also hurts the team when others do not talk to each other because they feel that they've been slighted and they can't say so. Another thing that happens when we're adults and we work in patterns, or we display patterns that um, hamper our ability to express our emotions. We begin to internalize those emotions. We internalize it. Now, sometimes children are told that they can't say that they're angry, right? When parents are angry, they say, and a child says, well, I'm angry or I'm mad. And the parent says, don't say that. You can't say that, right? I don't want to hear it. When a child is hurt, I don't want to hear it. When a child is frustrated, the parent tells them, I don't want to hear it. You know, they prevent them from expressing themselves. So the child with those patterns, they learn that it's not safe. It's not safe. Or, I'm sorry, let me go back. Or if they express, I'm hurt, my feelings were hurt, then they may get berated because of that, or put down, or made fun of because they said, my feelings were hurt. Our youngest daughter would say to me, "You hurt my feelings." And it would not be intentional, but guess what? I apologized. I would say to her, "I apologize. Mommy did not mean to hurt your feelings. I will try not to do it again. If I do, I want you to tell me that I've hurt your feelings." That was her phrase. Our oldest was, "I'm frustrated." And our youngest was, "You hurt my feelings." But if we didn't allow her to say that, if we didn't allow her to say, "You hurt my feelings," then she would internalize it. And she might have started to believe that there was something wrong with her, that she was bad, or she was uh, at fault in some way, or faulty in some way. So we want to be very aware of these patterns, because when we begin to internalize our emotions and we're not able to express them in a healthy way, it can disrupt our lives. It can cause us to experience increased stress, anxiety, as well as depression. And that's why it is vital for us to begin, at least, to create a pattern of behavior or habits that enable us to express our emotions and our feelings healthily, using our vocabulary and in a conversational tone. So I want to take us through a little exercise, if that's okay with you all, before we close. And on this slide, I have pictures of women, and these women are expressing an emotion. And if you're able to see the slide, you can see that I have fear on the slide. Well, what other words can you think of that can describe fear? And if you will, I'd like for you to drop it in the comments. You can just type it in the comments, just a word, or if you get inclined to put words. And if you're watching this on replay, I'd like for you to do the same. If you just drop in the comments words, other words that you're aware of that can also mean fear or fearful. The reason I'd like for you to put it in the comments is because when others come to this particular post or this particular video, then they can add those words to the list of words that they can use. So we're helping each other. So just put that word in that you would use to describe the feeling of fear, other than fearful. And again, if you're watching the replay or listening to the podcast on Spotify, drop that in the comments. Just drop it in the comments. So here are some words that I came up with that could express or describe the feeling of fear. Nervous. I'm feeling nervous. I'm terrified. I'm feeling a bit apprehensive. Oh, you know what? I am suspicious. I'm worried. These are all words that are very close to the word fear. Now, sometimes we will use these words and not use the word fear, right? Again, we want to use the word that is most closely aligned with what you are actually feeling. Let's move on. I have a slide that has pictures of women who appear to be sad. In one of the pictures, she's crying. There's a tear coming out of her eyes, but they're looking down, they're holding their face. They look like they have a lot on their mind. What words would you use to describe the feeling of sadness? And again, drop those words in the comment section because we want to build a vocabulary for anyone who might come to this post. You know, when they're looking on YouTube or if they're going to Facebook to watch the replay, we want them to see a list of words that they can use. And if you're watching on the replay, add your word. And I'm going to share some words too. Some other words for sad: disappointed, hopeless, pessimistic, heartbroken, depressed. These are all words that are closely aligned to the word sad. Now, I want to emphasize that when someone says that they are sad and they've been showing us that they are sad over a period of time, perhaps we want to talk to them, especially if they're close to us, talk to them about possibly seeing someone to start to get help for that sadness. People will avoid the word depressed because of the connotation that's attached to it. They will also avoid the word heartbroken because there's judgment around that. Well, what are you heartbroken over? You know, right? So they will use the word sad, which can have a myriad of um, a myriad of meanings, and it can mean different things to different people, and it does not express the degree to which a person is feeling disappointed, hopeless, pessimistic, heartbroken, or depressed. So drop your words in the comment section. What about joy? Feeling joyful. And I mean, I could also say that joy is another word for being glad. I'm glad. I'm happy. Feeling of happiness. That's really what joy is. How else would you describe the feeling of joy or feeling joyful? What words would you use to describe that? Drop it in the comment section. And once you drop it in the comment section, it'll be there for others to see because, again, we want to build a list. Here are some words that could be interchanged for joy. Festive, especially if you're at a party. I'm feeling festive. I'm feeling merry. I feel so lighthearted. Lightheartedness is such a wonderful feeling because your shoulders are not heavy, right? Lightheartedness. It's fun. It's festive. It's happy. It's a happy feeling. Pleased, tickled. Those are all words that, again, are closely aligned to the word joy. What words would you use? I think we can definitely build a vocabulary for us to use. Why am I focusing on this? As I said before, I think it's important for us to be able to describe what we are feeling specifically. What's important about this? It's important for us to be able to describe how we are feeling because when we are able to use the words that pinpoint what we are feeling, it enables others to provide the support and the nurture that we need. If I say I'm sad, someone may not know that I'm actually depressed, right? So if I say I'm feeling depressed and I've been feeling depressed for 5 days, then there's a different reaction and a different response to that. So you might ask, Marcy, well, I don't even know how how I can express how I feel, because a lot of times I don't even know how I feel. I can't even come up with the words to describe how I feel. How do I know that? Well, here is a way that you can do that. The first thing to do is to take a moment. You want to take some deep breaths. We want to initiate the relaxation response. Take some slow, deep breaths. That's the first thing. And you might want to go and sit quietly for just a few minutes. Just excuse yourself if you're with a group of people, or just sit quietly just for a few minutes. Take some deep breaths. And then think of a general term, like the ones we've been talking about: joy, fear, anguish, just generally. When you think of that general term, then you want to pinpoint, be very specific about that term. It's an umbrella term, it's a general term. You want to find words that pinpoint specifically what you're feeling. Now, how do you do that? Well, go to your search engine and put in adjectives, or the term word adjective list, word list. You can easily do that. If you put in the term adjective, you will find lists of adjectives that describe a range of things. Adjectives are describing words. You can go to that list, and some list will give you the general term and then give you other terms that are closely aligned or synonymous with that general term. Just go down the list and choose the one that speaks to your heart or speaks to you, right? That's one way to do that, especially when you can't think of the word or think of the term to use to describe what you're feeling. Feelings are not just, it's hard to describe a feeling in one word, so you don't have to. You can describe it in a number of words. But having that list of adjectives will help you to describe. You can choose the words that really get to the heart of the matter. Once you have found those words that get to the heart of the matter and describe what you are actually feeling, then you can actually put it into an I statement. I feel. And that's how it starts. I feel. I feel sad. I feel frustrated. I feel as if you've hurt my feelings. Very simple. But it takes practice, and it takes a commitment to doing so. And that's what I want to encourage you. I want to encourage all of you, if you've not done so, to try this method. To try it so that you can go beyond good, bad, sad, and mad in order to preserve your own mental health. So today on Stress Talk, I talked about how smart women go beyond good, bad, sad, and mad to preserve their mental health. I talked about how we learn to share our feelings and our emotions. I also talked about what it's like as an adult to share our emotions, especially when we've not learned how to do it in a healthy manner. And then finally, I gave you a 3-step process to be able to describe your feelings in a healthy way. And I encouraged you to do just that. Well, that's it for now. I'm so glad that you joined me today, and we got through it without storms coming and disrupting our feed. I hope you'll join me again next time. I'm Marcyline Bailey. As always, take good care.